Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today we have a pretty cool looking puzzle. It's got a, I'm not sure what this graphic is representing, if it represents anything. Maybe we'll figure that out once we get into our rules or something. It's called Silence Down the Drain. Okay, so maybe it just means that this is circling the drain. And that's what that is representing. It's by the Bard. And let's just jump into our rules because there's not a ton of rules here, so we don't have to remember a ton of stuff, which is usually quite well good for me. So, what do we have? So we have normal Sudoku rules apply. So every row, every column, and every 3x3 box must contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. We've got German whisper, so adjacent digits along the green line must have a difference of at least 5. Essentially, just means that whatever this digit is, the one next to it along the green line must be at least 5 away from it. So if this was like a 2, this would have to at least be a 7. And that would continue all the way down the line. And then we have XV digits. It says XY digits. I think we know it's really XV digits. Digits with an X between them add to 10. That's how they note it. So these two digits, they sum up to 10 when they're added together. And then digits with a V between them add to 5. So these two digits add to 5. And we have a few of these X's and V's throughout the board. So those are our rules. Let's get jumping into this thing and see what we can figure out. So where do we want to start? There's a couple of options, I guess. Where? So the few things about German whispers and XVs that they share a very similar, what's the word for it? A property, I guess is best, is that they can never have a 5 on them. Any of these clues can never have a 5 on them. You put a 5 on a V clue, you have to have 5 plus 0. Put a 5 on an X clue, you have to have 5 plus 5. That breaks. If you put a 5 on a German whisper, you have to put a 0 or a 10 beside it. That breaks the puzzle. So there are no 5s anywhere where we have clues. So can we use that to give us information? And I think we probably can. So we can see here that one of these must be a 5 because none of the other ones in this region can be. So that one isn't. One of these now must be a 5, so none of these can be. One of these now must be a 5, so this isn't. So we get a 5 here. None of these can be a 5. There has to be a 5 down here, so this can't be a 5. So this is a 5, so that one isn't a 5. So we have 3 5s now. 1, 2, and 3. This one has to be a 5 as well, so none of these can be. And one of these has to be, so that one isn't. So we get another 5. Okay, so we've got, let's do a quick color. I'll remove this color in a second just so that I can, we can say these all must be 5s. And we can put in our 5s in the rest of it, and then we can get rid of our color. So we get a bunch of 5s. Did it do much for us? I'm not sure that it did. But it may well have. Trying to see how that will give us any further information or remove an option that we might have thought was something else. And I don't quite see it. So what else can we determine? XV clues, the V's are usually quite helpful if you have a lot of them, because then you can start dividing them up into different types. Here, we don't really have that case. And what I mean by dividing up into different types is there's only 2 ways to make a 5. It's either 1, 4 or 2, 3. So if there were a ton of different 5s looking at each other, you could start to rule out which ones were what types. So let's, like this one, if you said this was a blue 5, this one could never be a blue 5 because you can't ever have these two be the same. These, though, don't interact in any way with the other ones, so trying to determine which is 5s or what's doesn't seem like the logic to go down. The other bit of logic on German whispers that might be useful although I don't quite see it, is, at least I don't see it right off the bat, is where do 4s and 6s go? Because 4s can only pair up with 9s, and 6s can only pair up with 1s. So therefore, you can't ever put 4 or 6 here, 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 because doing any of those would make you have to put 2 of the same digit in a region or on a column. The thing is, here you could absolutely put a 4 or 6, because these could both be 9, or they could both be 1. Don't know. Same with here. These two could both be. Same with here. These two could both be. This one can't be. This one can't be. These can't be. I don't think this is going to get us very far. Now let's color a little bit at least, because the other properties of German whispers is we know that every other digit is of the same highness or lowness. We don't know which one it is yet, but what we know is if this is low, these are all low. If this is high, these are all high. So I guess we can use that because we have a V clue here. Okay, so that actually is helpful. So let's look there. Because we can now tell which digits are high and which ones are low. I usually do orange for high and like a green or a blue for low. So we're going to change out this yellow. We'll do blue because we have a green line. So we know that this must be a low digit because it's on a V clue. So therefore, all of the blues are low digits. And we can, maybe we just going to put in our, we know these have to be low digits as well because they're on the Vs. So maybe it's going to be a coloring game where we know we have all 4 of our low digits. There's only 4 low digits, 4 high digits, and a 5. That can be put into a normal Sudoku so that we know that this therefore has to be a high digit. One of these is a high digit to go along with the 5. Do we have that anywhere else? Well, we know these are low. We know if this is low, we know this has to be high. Do we have anything else like that? Yes, this has to be low. This has to be high. So we have all of our lows and highs in this row now. Where else do we have any of that? This one right here and this one. So these two, we've got low digits on an X, so therefore the other digit added to it must be a high digit. We now have all of our low digits in this column. So anything, or all of our high digits, sorry, on this column. So any of the digits or the cells which cannot be a 5 would therefore have to be low. So this has to be low, this has to be low. And now once we put a low, even here we already had it, but we knew this could be a low as well because this has to be high and low. This has to go back up to high. Now we know we have all of our lows, so therefore these must be high. That now gets on an X, we can say this has to be low. We're knowing what? We know one of these is low and one of these is high by this row. But that's not going to quite give us what we want. Where else do we have anything? We still need another high in this column, but it could be either one of these. It depends on where that 5 is going to end up. Now, I guess here we know we've got a low, high, low, high, low, high. That's 3 highs and 3 lows because you have to have one of each on each. And you also have another low here, so this one therefore has to be high to fill out the rest of it. Yes, we know, okay, so we know a little bit more here, because we know one of these is low, one of these is high. We already have 3 highs, so this has to be another low, because all of our 4 highs are now taken, so this is low. I don't think we can do the same down here, not yet at least. Oh, so now we did figure out that we have all of our lows, so this is high, and this is low. And we already know these had to be 1 high, 1 low. The rest of this column tells us that as well. What about this guy? We don't quite have enough. We know that one of these is high and one of these is low. But we haven't sorted out either of these two regions quite far enough to be able to make that determination. We know one of these has to be a 5, and the other one has to be low. Okay. I'm just scanning rows and columns right now to see if I can find anything where we've got all of our lows or all of our highs. Not quite. I don't see anything else. Unless I'm just missing something, which is very, very possible. I didn't see anything on rows. Looking at columns now. And we know one of these is low and one of them is 5. That's good. That's the counterpoint to one of these being high and one of them being 5. Don't know what this guy is. It's either low or high. These are a combination of low and high. It's almost like the 10 type of clue sitting in here, but it doesn't have to be a 10, obviously. And there were no negative constraints on the XVs, so we can't use that in some way to determine anything. So can we look back now? Because I can't see anything else in coloring. We got it quite a ways, but going back to our 4-6 property, do we have anything in here now that we've got the entire drain colored that will give us a concept of where 4s and 6s might go? So we know this can't be, we know this is high, but it can't be a 6. The problem is, in this region, we have an undetermined high, and we have this guy here as well. And this even could still be a 6, because we could do 1, 1. Well, this can't be 6. We know this can't be 6. This one, sadly, again, could be 6. Now, I guess we can say something about if you look over at the low side. This can't be 4 because both these would have to be 9. This can't be 4 because both these would have. So this has to have a 4 in it. So it has to be a 1-4 pair. And these have to be what's remaining, which is 2, 3. Now we can rule out 6 being here because this cannot get down to 1. So none of these can be 6. So one of these is a 5 and one of them is a 6. And then what can we figure out about these guys? Because we can't use a 6, so all we have left is 7, 8, and 9. Now this could never be a 7 because one of these has to be a 3. But I can't use that same determination on either one of these, can I? Because if this is 7, these could both be 2s. If this was a 7, this could be a 2 and a 1. Well, I guess we know this is now that we know this is a 2 or a 3, this has to be a 1-4. And this has to be a 2-3. Because we couldn't put 2-3 on here and break this. This has to be a 1 or a 4, and it cannot be a 4. Okay, here we go. This is a 1. It couldn't be a 4 because both these would have had to be 9s. So therefore we get 4 and 1. Now that 1 doesn't help us out very much, because it doesn't rule out any possibilities here. Okay, now we know one of these has to be, well, this has to be a 1-4 pair, because where does the 1 and the 4 go in this region? It can't go in any of these, and it can't go there because of these two, so these have to be 1 and 4. This, again, cannot be a 4, because these would both have to be 9s. Okay, there we go. So we get another 1 forward pair. We put a 6 in here. But maybe this coloring didn't have to go quite as extensively as I got into it. Maybe. We don't know. We might have to double back again and look at coloring, but we did get some valuable information, I think, from the coloring, so we'll keep it alive for now until we see otherwise. Now, we know there's a 6 here, so none of these can be 6. So one of these, and here we go. Sorry, I had a little microphone problem, so I'm kind of just going to do a little quick dub for about a minute here. So I just found out that that 6 goes there, so we got the 5 and the 6, and then that gives us our 5 and 6 up in the region 3. Now looking around to see what is left over, and trying to figure out the next area to start working in. And just really kind of scanning the board because I'm not quite sure what is actually the right place to be looking at this point. So I'm just going to keep scanning until I figure out what something works and what doesn't. Now, looking at the 1 there, there's nothing there to determine what goes on the German Whisper because the 1 is almost useless in this instance. Looking around even further, noting that there's a 5 there. We have 3 of our highs already in there, and we need to get 1 high or 1 low, but determining what that specific thing is on this one doesn't work. So now I've noticed that my microphone is being a pain in the butt, and restarting it, and I'll give you back to previous. Back, finally. Jeez, I can't stand this microphone sometimes. I don't think it's the microphone. I think it's the computer. That has issues with me sometimes. So I'm going to probably have to go back and do a dub over of some of the portion that got missed, however long that may have been. If that has happened, you will, of course, already have heard it. So I'm not going to go back and say what I was thinking because it'll get dubbed over and it'll already be out there. So what the heck am I doing next? This digit has to be from 7, 8, 9, and it can't be 9. Because we got a 1 here, so this would have to have been this has to be either 2 or 3, which works perfectly if there's 7, 8 there. We don't know where the last high digit is. Yes, we do. Sorry. Looking at our column, this has to be the last of the low digits. So therefore, this is a high digit. This has to be from 2 or 3. We've got a 2, 3 pair now. These have to be from 7, 8, and 9. Again, I can't rule this out as being 7, which is somewhat annoying. Let's continue around the bend. These digits. Well, let's look at this guy. Is that useful? Well, it has to be from 1, 2, or 3. It cannot be 4. Because both these would have to be 9s. And this can never be a 9 anyway because of this 1. This digit here has to be either a 2 or a 3 because we've got the 1 and the 4 looking at it. So therefore, this has to be either 7 or an 8. This guy here can still be essentially anything it wants. We said, okay, where does the last low digit go in this region? I don't know. Do I? I was looking at the 1s and I thought I had something picked out, but I don't. We know none of these can be 1, so one of these is. But we can't say the low or high digit here, I don't believe. Okay, I'm scanning around, just trying to find something, the next place to look. And What is it doing for me? Can I figure... Oh, I can't. I was going to think 4s might be something we can rule out in this area, but they're not really. These could... Either one of these could be 4. We know... We don't really know much else about the 4s here. Okay, come on. What's next? We know 2 of these have to be high and 1 of them has to be low. So if you know 2 of these are high, that's all of our highs. So these 2 can't be high. So they have to be low. If this is low, this is high. And these are a combo of low and high that I don't quite know yet which is which. Where is it? It's not obvious to me where I need to be looking next. But there probably is something quite obvious out there. I'm just not seeing it. This guy can't be a 2-3, okay? I go back to the reason why this couldn't be a 2-3. Same thing, I wasn't looking at this one. This has to be from a 1-4 pair. If this is a 1 or 4, this has to be either a 6 or a 9. Now, this could very well be a 4. No, it can't, can it? If this is a 4, these both have to be 9s. But it also means that this has to be a 4, and both of these have to be 9s. So that doesn't work. So this has to be 1. This has to be 4, which puts a 4 here and a 6 here. We can get rid of this bad boy. We know this has to be 9 now because of the 1. This can't be 9. We have to have a 6 somewhere in this row. It can't go here, so it must go here. And we have 2 1s on each side of it. That works out perfectly. This has to be from 7 or 8. Okay. What is next in line? Well, these have to be from 2 and 3. Okay, so that gives me a 2-3 pair. Good, which means this has to be 1, this has to be 4, this has to be 1. And what else does it tell me? 2, 3, this has to either be 7 or 8, which means this has to either be 7 or 8. Right. Now this here has to be 2 or 3, because it can't be 1 or 4. This being 2 or 3, no, that doesn't quite help us, does it? We know no 4s in any of these, right? So one of these 2 must be a 4. Not quite what I wanted. What 6s? Where can 6 go? This can't be a 6. This can't be a 6 either, because if this was a 6, that would force a 4 here and then force another 6 here. So we have a 6 in one of these, and that looks over here and tells me that's not a 6, so this is. And what else does it say? I'm not quite sure. These are all from 7, 8, and 9. Again, it's not much doing. Well, no, that's not true. I was going to say something wrong again. This has to be, okay, we got a 2-3 pair here. We know this is low, so it has to be either 1 or 4, but there's a 1 over here. So this is 4. And I was hoping we get something else with the 4s here. but I don't see it. So we know one of these is a 4. One of these up here has to be a 4. One of these two has to be a 4. I can't rule either one of these out as being 4s because we still have the possibility that we could have a 9-9 or a 9-9 here. I guess, well, no, no. I thought I could make a determination about the 9 in this region by these 4s, because one of them has to be a 4. So therefore, well, actually we can, yeah. So one of these has to be a 4. So this has to be a 9 to be able to pick it up inside this region, and the other 9 is in one of these two. Which one it is, I'm not entirely sure of. Okay, but this 9 does tell me that this has to be a 9. Okay, so that's going to figure it out. Because this 9 sees in here, none of these can be 9, so therefore this must be 9. We know that the 4 has to go on the line where we have the two 9s around it, so this is 4. Now that that 9 takes out those guys, this has to be from 7 or 8. This has to be 9, because we have 7, 8, and 6 already figured, and we had it up here anyway. So that is 9. This has to be a 2 or a 3, and it has to be a low digit. Now we have all of our lows, so we know one of these is high, one of them is a 5. Therefore, this can't be a 1, so this is a 1. This has to be a 1 because it's the only thing left in this row for low digits. That would have been another way to look at it. What else do we have? We know... Okay, so we know one of these is high. Wait. No, sorry, we know both of these are low because we only have 2 lows. We can't have any more lows here, so these are both low. Okay, so these were from 2, 3, 4. There's a 4 down here, so this is 4. So that makes this a 6. Is that all for our 4s? Yeah, we're going to get a 4 up here, so we can color that in as well. This has to be from 2 and 3. So there has to be a 1 down here somewhere. It can't be there, so this is a low digit, and it's a 1. I've been skipping around. There was other stuff I could have done up here. Like this has to be a 9, because the 4 has to be next to a 9. This then 4 gives me an 8. This has to be 7. This has to be 9. This has to be 2 because of that 7. Can't be 3. This is the 3. This is 2, 3, 7, 8, 7, 3, 2. This is 2. This is 3. That 7 makes that an 8. That 7 makes that an 8. This 2 makes this 3. That's a 2 then. That 7 gives us our 8 and our 7. So this is now unwinding itself. This has to be a high digit. These all have to be from 6, 8, and 9. This can't be 6. This can't be 6, so this is 6. We could have just used Sudoku. What fun is that? These are 8 and 9. This has to be from 7, 8, and 9, but it can't be 9, so this is 7, 8, which does give us our 9 and our 8. I thought we would have these. This has to be a 2, 3. This has to be a high digit. And we need to have a 7 up in this region, so therefore it goes there. What's the last high digit we have in this column? It would be a 9. This has to be... Wait, these are... Sorry, let me get rid of that marking. That was confusing me for a second. I just didn't get rid of it. This has to be from 7 or 8. This has to be from 7 or 8. This has to be from 7 or 8. So we end up with these two being low. Let's mark those. They have to be from 2 or 3. We got a 2 here, so let's put our 3 and our 2. This has to be a 3 now from the row. This has to be a 9. It's got to be colored. We're just going to finish our coloring because we're there. No point in dragging it out. This has to be from 2 or 3. and it can't be 2. So this is 3. It's going to finish off all our lows, I think. 3 and 2. And what do we have? We have to have 5, 6, and 7. This is not 6. Nope, that's not getting me there. We have to have a 7 in this middle region. It can only go there. This has to be a 5 and an 8. Do we have one that... Nope, we do not. Awesome. We'll get it soon enough, though, I think. These have to be from... What are we looking at? 2, 5, and 6. This can't be 2. This can't be 6. This can't be 2. Okay, there we go. Let's get our 2 here. That 7 sees this. Let's get our 5 in there. Let's get rid of the 5. These are both high digits. And where's the last little bit of information? Well, I don't see it for some reason. All of our low digits are done. We just have to figure out these last little bits. So we've got to have 8s or 9s or something, right? 9s are done. 8. Okay, here it is. I just couldn't see it through the colors. This is 7. This is 8. Can we continue that further? No, we've got an X-wing on 8s. We've got an X-wing on 7s. And let's say we're going to have an X-wing on 5s as well. Okay. All right, so is there a clue missing now that I haven't used? Well, I don't see anything. So what am I missing here? Oh, duh. The X clue. I didn't see it again because I think the coloring was overpowering it. So we get 8, 7. That gives us 5 and 8. Let's get our coloring finished properly. This is going to have to be a 5. And this is going to be a high 6. Oh, I didn't finish it. This is 7 and 6. There we go. You solved the puzzle. Solution is correct. Awesome. That was a fun one. Silence Down the Drain by the Bard. Once I found a couple of these clues or found where I need to look specifically on once I got moving on some of these things, it really worked its way out. So that was certainly a fun puzzle to solve. I'm glad that I found it, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.